I'm not dependent on punch power, you know. You know what, it takes a lot more than that to be a great fighter. A lot more than that to be a great fighter, so there's various ways I'll win. But I got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down with my spirit.
So after this.
But he know he can't though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even equipped to fight this dude. He's not. It's going to have to be a bunch of stuff in there. Joshua will punish this man.
It's impossible for somebody like Anthony Joshua, who is so big and so strong, to even think he's going to take it easy. Because even if he tries to take it easy, he's so powerful, so strong that even those punches that are being easy are still going to.
Anthony Joshua issued a warning to Jake Paul at the press conference, stating that Paul is delusional to believe he can defeat him. He reportedly added that his motivation for accepting the bout is largely financial, approaching it as a business move, and clearly stated that once inside the ring, he is still the vastly superior boxer.
Yeah, I deliver what I was supposed to deliver years ago. I deliver what they ran from. I deliver what he asked for $50 million for. I'm gonna give him a $50 million knockout.
I honestly listen to what people say sometimes. They're avoided, this person's running. I honestly think some people are deluded. Really, I do think that they've got some sort of a long-term concussion, because no one's running. In terms of 50 million, I'm a businessman. If there was 50 million on the table.
Chris Algieri explains that this matchup gives Anthony Joshua an ideal chance to step back into the ring. Following a stretch of inactivity after his most recent defeat, Joshua can use this fight as a platform to rebuild confidence and restore his competitive timing. The bout allows him to secure a major payday while minimizing danger, resembling a tightly managed sparring exercise. Algieri notes that Joshua gains on financial, mental, and physical levels, making the contest a calculated and sensible option for a return.
What are we talking here? Like, it's going to be an exhibition? No, it's a fight. You're a heavyweight. You're calling out heavyweights. You're calling out a heavyweight. You're calling out Anthony Joshua, former world champion. You're calling him out on short notice. It's a fight. You're going to wear 10-ounce gloves and you're going to fight 10 rounds, and that's what it is. I don't understand any idea of anything else. Oh, it's going to be 8-2s? Is it going to be 15-ounce gloves? What the hell are we doing? This is boxing. You want to fight a real guy? You're fighting a real guy, which I am very respectful, and I respect the hell out of Jake Paul if he does step in the ring with Anthony Joshua. No matter what happens, kid's got balls of steel, and I applaud you.
Well, the reason I say we don't know yet, because Jake Paul has fought in it. His last fight with Gervonta Davis was going to be an exhibition. They had to do that because of the weight difference. This is still a weight difference here. I mean, Anthony
No,
Joshua,
there's not. No, it's not. It's heavyweight. It's the same weight class.
Well, what do you consider Jake Paul? Cruiserweight or heavyweight?
Heavyweight. How much did he weigh his last fight?
He's fought at cruiserweight. He's also fought at heavyweight. Against Tyson was at heavyweight.
What was his last fight? He's a cruiser. He's a heavyweight.
What was
he
his
was
last
too.
fight?
It was
His last
Mike
fight was
Tyson.
at cruiser against Chavez. Whatever, you know what I mean. Like the reason Gervonta Davis fight.
He fought Chavez after Tyson.
Yeah.
I guess Tyson was that long ago. Wow.
That was a year ago. This week, I was looking at my Instagram memories. I was in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for me pooping my pants on Netflix. That was about a year ago. Exhibition. These are questions that are asked. These are questions that are attached.
Eddie Hearn states that Anthony Joshua is genuinely interested in fighting Jake Paul, but the situation requires caution because of Paul's unpredictable nature. He points out that Jake has previously agreed to opponents only to cancel or postpone bouts late in the process, complicating organization and preparation. As a result, Joshua's team stays ready for sudden changes while continuing training and tactical planning. Hearn stresses that if Paul is truly serious, the fight represents a massive financial opportunity for Joshua, possibly among the largest paydays of his career. At the same time, the promoter underlines the need to balance excitement with caution, ensuring Joshua benefits without unnecessary interruptions or distractions. Hearn's breakdown emphasizes the importance of readiness alongside patience. Given Jake Paul's uncertainty, careful handling is required, with the priority on finalizing the bout while safeguarding Joshua's career and maximizing potential returns.
JJ Paul news seemed to come to a surprise for many. How close are we to making that fight, Eddie?
Not that close. I mean, there are conversations. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome. But if he's serious about the fight, and if it can get made, there's a very good chance we'll do it.
Is it on Netflix, and what did DAZN have to say of the fact that it made
one of the hurdles to overcome? But we were going to have an 8-round run out in December. Just so happens it might be against Jake Paul.
Have you spoke to Nikisa? I know you're not friends with him. What are the conversations you've had?
That's who we're talking about, you know. And if they're serious and if it's real, there's a good chance. But listen, we could wake up tomorrow and he's announced another opponent and he just used AJ's name for clout. Listen, I have to respect him if he takes the fight, but who knows?
What do you think Dana White will make of this fight?
I mean, he did Mayweather against McGregor. He doesn't like Jake Paul. I really couldn't care less what he thinks about the fight. AJ's going to make close to or around a career high payday, and we'll take.
Paulie Mulgee stresses that Anthony Joshua will take the fight with full seriousness, even if it is officially classified as an exhibition. He notes that throughout his career, Joshua has never taken an opponent lightly. Stepping into the ring means he will apply total focus, strength, and technical ability. Malignaggi points out that Joshua's discipline, timing, and ring IQ enable him to find openings and punish errors efficiently. Ryan Garcia echoes this opinion, explaining that even if Joshua dials back his aggression, his natural power and accuracy still make his shots extremely dangerous. Together, their assessments highlight that Jake Paul faces a real physical threat, and the bout should not be dismissed despite its promotional or entertainment angle. They emphasize that Joshua's experience against elite heavyweights allows him to dictate pace, range, and momentum. Analysts agree Paul must show both tactical awareness and toughness, as Joshua's power and skill create a dangerous environment where any mistake could lead to serious consequences. The discussion confirms that the fight requires respect and thorough preparation from both camps.
Bag now. And if you listen to this, it's definitely out of the bag.
Yeah, Fight for 84, big boxing movie that's hitting Netflix soon about the Olympic 84 team starring Jamie Foxx and Chris Algieri.
I'm not starring in anything, but whatever. Yeah, no, I got a credit. I'm in it. I got some lines. So
That's amazing. That is so cool. I mean, this couldn't get any cooler. You're now in the movie, which is absolutely absurd.
yeah.
What a day.
Hopefully,
What a life.
Hopefully, maybe there'll be more of this. Who knows? Who knows?
I think it's just the beginning. I think this podcast is numbered. Our days are numbered.
No way.
This
I'm
guy's going Hollywood.
I'm never letting this go, Dan. This is. I'm a ride or die.
I hope you get so big and become such a big actor that you are like delaying production because you have to film our podcast in your trailer.
Chris is in his trailer. He's got to finish his podcast with Dan.
They're like, who's Dan? It's Johnny Drama style.
Yeah, love it. Yeah. Just
When he was
total,
on the set,
total
5
diva.
pounds.
Just total diva in every way possible.
Yes. Like we said, this episode is brought to you by PPP.com. December 6th, we're going to see Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach. And guess what? We're going to talk to Lamont Roach on this episode. I caught up with Lamont and to get his thoughts on the fight with Pitbull, to get his thoughts on Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, which we're going to get to in a second, to get his thoughts on 140, potentially fighting at 135. That's coming up in just a little bit with Lamont Roach. Don't forget to order that fight with us on ppv.com and all the good stuff that comes along with that. That's December 6th. Lamont Roach is an awesome interview. Great guy.
Awesome guy. Forget the interview. He's just a good dude. I told you to tell him what's up. You probably did.
He said what's up. He goes, where is he? I said, he's on a movie set. He goes, oh yeah, he's got those movie star looks.
See, that's what I get. But yeah, no, he's a good dude. We see him. He trains down in Florida now. He's over at the Pro Box TV training facility, so we get to see him down there training. He's whipping on all the guys over there. But good people, good dude. Good. His dad's awesome. His brother Jordan's great. He's another one to look out for. I think is he a flyweight? I think he's a flyweight coming up, or bantamweight. But yeah, great family, good boxing family, great boxing heritage.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that mega card. Big card December 6th, and he's the headliner. So we're going to get to him in a second. Some big news broke. Shocking news. According to Ring Magazine, Anthony Joshua is going to step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul. We don't know yet if it's an exhibition. We don't know yet the rules set. We don't know the date. These are preliminary talks that are ongoing. Yes, I work for MVP.
Dave Allen challenges the notion that Anthony Joshua should steer clear of fighting Jake Paul simply because the matchup is viewed as unusual or entertainment-driven. He notes that Joshua remains in outstanding physical shape. And unlike former fighters who may have lost speed or strength, Joshua still possesses every attribute needed to control the ring. Allen stresses that fans often downplay the seriousness of these bouts, seeing them purely as spectacles. However, the truth is that Joshua's athleticism, power and ability make him a dangerous opponent. The commentary makes clear that this contest is not only about showmanship. Joshua's training, preparation, and experience allow him to assert dominance over any rival. Allen also draws attention to the gap between perception and reality, cautioning that casual fans may underestimate the danger Jake Paul is facing. The matchup requires respect, concentration, and recognition of Joshua's elite boxing level regardless of the surrounding hype.
Some of it was probably shouldn't be licensed, but Florida are a very kind of easy commission to get. Yeah, it'd be called an exhibition. It
will be an exhibition.
It probably would be called an exhibition.
What's the point?
For me, as long as that fight you mentioned just now, Spencer, as long as that roadmap is there and it's signed, that he fights an interim guy as a warm-up afterwards and fights Tyson Fury next year, and Fury's on board, I'm great with it. Otherwise, I do think his legacy's damaged if his last fight is with Jake Paul.
An exhibition is a waste of time. They're for retired fighters. For retired fighters, it's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, listen, the guy's still in his athletic prime. I personally don't see the reason why they can't just do the Tyson Fury fight. Why do we need interims?
Well, we all want that.
Yeah, but why do we need interims? Why do we need warm-ups? We're talking about two experienced guys who've been the best, as you just said, of the last 10, 20 years. Let's get the fight on.
It's as ridiculous as Gervonta Davis going in with him, basically, isn't it, with Jake Paul,
Quite
frankly.
different mindsets, and what, again, listening to Eddie today and what he was saying, the damage that Anthony Joshua suffered mentally, not physically, because physically he's still all there, but mentally against Daniel Dubois, he needs to go through that process again. And they said, and that's just the whole getting your hands wrapped up, doing it, whether it's Jake Paul, whether it's a top 100 fighter, you go, that's the way Anthony Joshua ticks. He needs that before going into the... All roads lead to Fury, right? We all know that. Whether Fury...
Analysts point out that Jake Paul is entering a bout against someone closer to his level in terms of active competition, unlike the older or retired fighters he previously faced. While this presents the kind of challenge fans have been waiting for, it also raises the level of physical risk for Paul. Commentators emphasize that health and safety are major concerns, as Joshua's skill set, power, and experience surpass anything Paul has dealt with before. The matchup may be competitive on paper, but it is dangerous when considering the potential physical consequences.
Maybe even bigger than the Mike Tyson fight. It's hard to say really. Tyson was a big name, but it's going to do numbers regardless, because Joshua is a big name, and then people are going to be tuning in to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Right now, Eddie Hearn talks about Jake Paul taking this Joshua fight.
I mean, my estimations of Jake Paul would go through the roof if he signed to fight Anthony Joshua, because I just can't believe in my mind that he would do something like that. I mean, Gervonta was a smart one because of his size. Like, you know, I think actually he would have had a lot of success against Jake Paul, but the size is a problem. But this would just be, you know, like if Jake Paul was to take the fight with AJ, you'd really have to maybe carry his balls in a wheelbarrow on the ring walk, you know, because AJ wouldn't mess around in there, you know. So it would be huge, but nothing to tell you it's close, just a few conversations so far.
Damn right, if Jake Paul takes this fight, he's got some major balls on him. And I know people hate influencer boxing, but come on, he's not fighting an old, retired, past the prime MMA fighter. No, he's fighting a legit boxer who's massive, 6'5", 6'6", jacked, 240, 250 pounds, shredded power puncher. Do we need to remind ourselves of what Joshua did to Francis Ngannou? Francis Ngannou was coming off a pretty good performance over Tyson Fury. He didn't get the win in that fight, but you could argue that he did actually win that fight. And Ngannou, throughout his entire MMA career, in 4-ounce gloves, very rarely got hit. He could take a punch. He's got a big, fat African head. Big, thick neck, traps back. He just can't really be hit. And look what Joshua did to Ngannou. Out cold. So what do you think Joshua is going to do to Jake Paul? Jake Paul better start loading up on that Trenbolone. He needs to start eating Anavar like Skittles.
Analysts stress that Anthony Joshua's background as an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight champion makes him a highly serious opponent under any circumstances. They emphasize that his blend of technique, strength, and experience separates him from all of Jake Paul's past opponents. Joshua's ability to analyze opponents, adapt tactics during the fight, and land accurate, damaging shots means that even small errors by Paul could be punished heavily.
Gold medalist, unified champion at the heavyweight division. He is 6'6", 250 pounds. And also, I do think.
Oh my God!
I do. No, Jake Paul 6'1", about 220. I want to say this though. I think Anthony Joshua, he's made stupid money in his career, dumb money in his career. I don't think he's going to be in a position to be accepting BS terms with Jake Paul if this is really what's going to end up happening. I think we're actually going to get to see Jake Paul against a former heavyweight champion of the world. Do I think that's a smart idea? Absolutely not. For Jake Paul, do I think it would sell? Absolutely. Do I think it'd be very interesting and people would tune in to see if he gets his head knocked off? Absolutely. I genuinely, I hate to say it.
Experts state that this fight is anything but casual. It requires total focus, preparation, and respect for Joshua's abilities. Analysts also point to Joshua's physical advantages, including his reach, power, and conditioning, which allow him to control distance and tempo. Paul, despite his confidence, is entering a ring where underestimating a former world champion could lead to serious consequences. Commentary highlights that Joshua's past wars with elite heavyweights have refined his timing, defense, and ring intelligence, enabling him to dominate even against an unconventional opponent. The discussion reinforces that this bout is a major test of Paul's skills, and Joshua's elite standing ensures the contest will be highly competitive and tactically demanding.
Probably sees what Alexander Usyk, who's now the undisputed, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time now after beating all these guys. He was a smaller guy, went up, he's like 6'2", 6'3", about 200 pounds at first. Now he's probably sitting at about 220, 230. Similar size to Jake Paul. Went up and beat all these guys. Granted, Usyk, greatest amateur boxer at that weight class ever. I think it's going to be interesting, but I do think Jake Paul is in a good position.
The only fear is this.
I hate to give him credit.
If Jake Paul gets his block knocked off completely.
Yeah, very possible.
The Jake Paul experiment is over. It's a wrap. Because if you step into the ring, everybody thus far is wondering and has wondered, like, what would happen versus a legitimate boxer?
Yeah.
And in their relative shape. Not a 50-year-old Floyd.
Yeah.
Not a 60-year-old Mike. We've all asked ourselves, well, what happens if you fight a real fighter? The problem is, once you fight a real fighter and you get beat down, the hypothesis is gone. So now we don't need to wait to see the experiment. Y'all know what we do every year. We say the best college team could beat the worst NFL team.
Yeah,
and it's a fun debate.
Yeah.
Because if you don't really know ball, if you don't really know ball though, you'll be like, man, but if 10 players on Georgia would start for the Cleveland Browns right now. But if they actually...
Oladipo notes that this is one of the biggest fights, attracting enormous attention from both fans and media. He explains that Anthony Joshua's credentials as a former heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist add legitimacy and excitement, creating a matchup eagerly awaited around the world. Fans are especially looking forward to explosive exchanges and the possibility of a knockout, which heightens the drama and spectacle. Oladipo adds that Joshua's ability, experience, and power make him a dangerous opponent, ensuring the fight is treated seriously rather than as pure entertainment. The mix of Joshua's stature and Paul's popularity drives massive interest, turning the bout into a central topic across boxing circles and mainstream audiences. The build-up, coverage, and fan debate all highlight the importance of this showdown.
And this is, for Jake Paul, a much bigger fight than fighting Gervonta Davis. And I mean bigger, not just in the sense of who he's fighting and the size of AJ, I mean bigger in terms of numbers. Like Jake Paul versus AJ does way bigger numbers, for me, than Gervonta versus AJ. I think this actually does bigger numbers than Terence Crawford versus Canelo. I really do. I think this is, again, if it makes money, it makes sense. Let's talk about the negativity. And look, I get it. Like, if you're like me, I still believe, and look, some might say, well, AJ's just gonna pick up, who knows what the numbers are, 80, 100 million, right? And then continue on his trajectory or career to potentially become a world champion again. I don't like this pause. This is just me. I still believe that AJ can do damage in the heavyweight division. I believe that. Again, some people are like, no, he's done. Okay, cool. I believe that AJ can do damage again. I look at the heavyweight division and I remove Alexander Usyk from it, and I'm like, AJ can beat a lot of those guys. So I like the idea of AJ staying busy and having real fights against real heavyweights. So I'm not a fan of this pause, especially considering that we've not seen AJ in the ring since September 2024. It's a long time. It's a long, long time. So if AJ has this fight, we're not going to see AJ in the ring properly until the spring. A long, long time. If AJ was busy, and then had this fight in between, I guess I wouldn't be too mad with it. I get it, right? If someone knocks on your door and says, do you want to fight Jake Paul for 100 million? You're like, you'd be stupid to say no. No, I don't want that 100 million for what would be and will be.
That brings today's video to a close. Stay tuned. Until next time.